2 touchdowns, 2 turnovers. What do you make of Josh's performance?
Well, look, obviously from my critique of the Patriots, I'm not putting too much into this game, so I'm not trying to sound any alarms. But last year he had 6 turnovers total in the whole season. He's had 3 in the last 2 games.
Correct.
He had 2 yesterday.
And in critical moments.
Yeah. So, and I think, and you mentioned the critical moments, so much is on his shoulders. Like, he doesn't have a number 1 receiver. I mean, despite
what Deion Coleman was
yeah,
Deion Dawkins convinced you guys.
I think Khalil Shakir is their best receiver. But he's not I don't think he's a true number 1.
Yeah, no, Keon is supposed to be.
It's supposed to be, but I mean, and James Cook is really good, but so much is on Josh's shoulders, and I think it was kind of a throwback game. It was back to 2022 when, yes, he's going to be Superman and do some great things, but he's going to be reckless and make some mistakes too.
Like, this is to me, they have. Baker Mayfield last year led the league in picks or second most picks.
Led the league.
But I said, and I think most people agreed, it was okay because they had 41 touchdowns, and he's slinging it downfield. The Bills have pivoted from we're gonna make one big mistake. If we're a boxer, we're gonna get knocked down once in this fight, but we're gonna knock you down 3 times. The third one's gonna be a knockout. To, as you would say, Floyd Mayweather. We're going to throw a bunch of jabs, and we're going to beat you on points. If that's the style, you can't make those mistakes because you don't have the quick strike offense to get back at it. And so I'm not going to overreact either. I think right now, the entire AFC, there is not a perfect team except for the team that by the end of the year will be perfect and wins the conference every year. But, I mean, they do. I mean, they win the conference every year. But they're not a perfect team yet. But I'm also not going to have a double standard the way seemingly every other show on TV will. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Have you guys seen Josh Allen deep ball numbers? What happened to the player we once loved? My goodness, look at the passer rating. Look at the attempts a game. What's happened with Josh Allen for this year? What's happened? Now, do I think that's because Josh Allen has atrophied as a player? Of course not.
This is the dumbest thing ever, and I'm not even going to remotely even play this game right now. Okay, this is so absurd for so many different reasons. Because what he's trying to talk about is when people said, "Oh, Mahomes' deep ball numbers are bad," specifically 23-24. Their offense was bad. All the other stuff that Patrick Mahomes was doing also wasn't great. That's not the case with Josh Allen. And this very year, this very season in 2025, we saw Josh Allen put together one of the greatest mind-numbing comebacks, not to mention all the other stuff that he's done with his legs throughout this season. So that is just absurd. And when you look at the adjusted completion percentage for Josh Allen on deep ball passing, he's top 7 in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes in 23-24, which is why he's like, I'm not going to have a double standard, was in the 30s. So you want to use adjusted completion percentage here because that's going to now factor in poor receivers and drop passes. And yet Josh Allen this season is top 7. Patrick Mahomes right now, you want to know what his adjusted completion percentage? It's so low, I got to do it this way. 26.3%. What does that show you? That means he's throwing inaccurate balls. Nearly half as accurate as Josh Allen. So you want to play this whole trolling game? No, I'll have none of it. I'll have absolutely none of it because it's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. So don't be fooled by the sleight of hand tricks, which is what Danny called Nick out. He goes, I've known you for a lot of time, and your sleight of hand doesn't really work on me, and that's what this is. So let's stop. This is just absolute, complete, utter nonsense. Listen, this was a throwback game for the Bills because there was just 3/4 of the game was just they just called hike, and Josh Allen just had to dance. And it was just like, he can run, he can throw. What do we need him to do? And you could see he can't just there's no one open at times, and he can't just take the yards. He can't say, okay, I'll take 5 yards, 10 yards, because he knows he needs bigger plays, and there's just no one open for him. That's why he keeps dancing around, trying to not go too far around the line of scrimmage. Like, he's just trying to make a big play. He's trying to make a big throw because he has to. Because he can't say, okay, it's cool, I'll just take 5 yards here, I'll just take 10 yards here. Nobody can get open. And Collinsworth said it. He said it perfectly. Perfectly. He said, the defense knows what the Buffalo Bills want to do. The Buffalo Bills are not trying to disguise or try to trick anyone. Their logic is, their approach, their philosophy is, we just want to put our guys where we want them to be. And we're just going to trust that our guys will find a way. It's a really hard existence. It's what the Philadelphia Eagles did last year and what they're trying to attempt to do this year, and it doesn't work. It's really, really hard. They're able to get away with it, a little bit of it last year. But I mean, they tried to do it against the Packers in the playoffs. They were fortunate that their defense forced turnovers because their offense, it's a hard offensive existence. And what happens is that when you have someone like a Saquon Barkley and a Jalen Hurts, you can rip off a 44-yard run. You can rip off a 60-yard touchdown. And when you got a burner like Devontae, it's like, yeah, you know what we're going to do, but like, hey, all we do is just have to hit a couple of these plays, and we're good. It's fine. Our defense will take care of the rest. We'll be able to run the ball, and we win. And then when the time really calls for it, we can just run you out of town, like in an NFC Championship game in the Super Bowl. But you need to have the big play abilities to be able to get that done. And the Bills don't always have that. Their big play ability is always, Josh Allen, please be magical. Please do everything. And so, you know, he was the leading rusher, 9 carries for 53 yards, 5.9 yards per carry. I mean, Cook had a good game, 15 carries for 49, but he only got the ball 15 times. 22 for 31, 253 yards, 8.2 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, 103.3 passer rating. Obviously, the one interception was a rough one. The fumble, you know, I know it's credited to Josh, but, you know, it's one of those weird ones. But to me, they had 11 penalties. They had 11 penalties, and Diggs feasted. Those are the two things that I'm more like, what is going on? Josh Allen, when you have the ball as much as Josh Allen does, when you're asking this guy to do everything that he possibly can, game after game after game, drive after drive after drive, snap after snap after snap, you're going to fumble. You're going to have some turnovers. It happens. It happens to every single quarterback. Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Eli Manning, Josh Allen. It happens to everyone. Obviously, you don't want it to happen with regularity here by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm not going to be like, how did you throw an interception? Like, that's clown nonsense when people jump into that. It's just unfortunate that it happens. But the miscues with this team and the 11 penalties, you have 11 penalties at home going up against a division rival in a close game. I'm just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I'll be a little bit more forgiving when some of these penalties, especially are on defense, when the defense is they just want to attack. They're just so aggressive. They're just these mistakes, these penalties that they're making are just because they're just playing like they're on fire. It's like over aggression. That's not what these penalties are. That's not what these penalties are. These are just bad. And again, you know Diggs wants to get after it, and you couldn't stop him. I mean, 10 catches for 146 yards. I mean, you know, it was just a bad game. I don't want to just throw it to the side as, oh, well, you know, it was a divisional game. Divisional games get weird, et cetera, et cetera. Like I said in my post-game clip, like, you know, there's truth to that, but that's a cop-out. And also, again, you don't want to sound the alarm. You can't go undefeated. No one's going undefeated. Josh Allen will make mistakes. He's going to throw interceptions. The Philadelphia Eagles lost against the Broncos. Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills lost to the Patriots, the last remaining undefeated teams. But I think what Nick said was right, and this is what I've been saying. No team is dominant. No team is unstoppable. No team is a juggernaut. No team is perfect. Which is why, I already threw that list away, why I kept saying week after week after week, who are the top teams that I have right now? The Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles. And we can throw in the Lions. We can throw in, you know, before the Ravens fell apart, the Ravens. And it was just like, What's it all going to look like in the playoffs? I got no idea. I got no idea because any of these teams can beat each other. Any of them. Any of them, any of them, any of them. But what it comes down to is, are you buttoned up? Do you make the right plays at the right time? That is why the Kansas City Chiefs have been able to win again and again and again and again and again. Because they consistently make the right play at the right time. Against the Kansas City Chiefs, with the Kansas City Chiefs going up against the Patriots, Drake May, he gets sacked. He doesn't get that throw off to Diggs that then turns into a first down. That's the difference. That's the difference. It's all of those little things that the Buffalo Bills are still trying to figure out how to make work. And the mark of a great defensive coach, I've said this so many times on this channel, is being able to make a young quarterback look like a young quarterback. And yet, Drake May did not look like a young quarterback at all. Drake May looked comfortable, experienced, and like this was just another game for him. And it's just like, what are you doing? Make a young quarterback look like a young quarterback. He hasn't even played a full season of football. And yet, his day wasn't very hard. Yeah, he took some sacks and whatnot, but like you did not watch him and be like, oh, this is a young quarterback, right? This guy doesn't look like he's really played a full season yet. And you're just like, and you know he was trying to feed the ball to Diggs, like you know that, and yet you still couldn't stop it. It's like, Sean McDermott, hello, where you at, bro? Hello, where you at? And Brady, what are we doing here? We're just going to constantly just put the weight of the world on Josh Allen's shoulders? Just play after play? We're just going to constantly make him just dance around and just wait for something to happen for him to make a play again and again and again and again and again and again and again? Go watch. I actually just commented this to a huge Josh Allen Buffalo Bills fan. I'm making a video. I already made it. It's going to post tomorrow, I think, about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Seattle Seahawks. And I go through a whole bunch of plays, like 6, 7, 8 plays. You can see Baker Mayfield have all day in the pocket and throwing to just wide open receivers. Wide open receivers. That's coordinating. That's largely coordinating. Just why it's why Andy Reid consistently gets wide open receivers with like Juju Smith-Schuster and MVS, and it's coordinating, it's coaching, it's execution, it's preparation. But there is still such a continued fallback on, we got Josh Allen, we'll find a way. And as Collinsworth also pointed out, man, how many times do you want your quarterback to be taking these shots and falling on his right shoulder? It's just a tough existence. The Buffalo Bills don't do anything to make life easier for Josh Allen. And yet I see multiple coordinators make life easier for Baker Mayfield. Andy Reid make life easier for Patrick Mahomes. Sean McVay make life easier for Matthew Stafford. Shanahan make life easier for Purdy, Mac Jones, Garoppolo, whatever it may be. And now you can see the difference between a coordinator making life easier for Jalen Hurts and making it harder. Easy with Shane Steichen, harder with their coordinator in 23, Brian Johnson, I think his name is. Easier in 24 with Kellen Moore, harder in 25. The number one job of a coordinator is to make the life easier for their quarterback. That is how it works, no matter who you are. Patrick Mahomes, Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, John Elway, Tom, it doesn't matter, whoever the heck it is, Josh Allen, me, and yet you watch this game. Show me all the moments in this game when you're like, wow, they made that easy for Josh Allen. They did. Just never. Never, never, never. There was the one red zone play where it was like, Josh Allen, this is what they always do. Josh Allen, please just be bigger, stronger, faster than every person on the field right now. Every single time. Every single game you have at least one of those plays, and you're just like, I've never seen Andy Reid do that to Patrick Mahomes once in his entire career. Hey, Pat, I just need you to be bigger, stronger, faster than everyone. Please, I beg you, please. And yet the Buffalo Bills constantly ask Josh Allen to do it. Constantly. So that's why. Again, this is not doom and gloom for me. I am not saying, the Buffalo Bills are in trouble. Oh, this is proof Josh Allen isn't a great quarterback. None of that nonsense. None of that. But these types of games are like, when are you going to play more consistent, higher quality ball? Because it matters when you play the Philadelphia Eagles. It matters when you play the Kansas City Chiefs. It matters. It matters. And dropping a game at home against the New England Patriots. And again, Drake May's looking good. He's getting better. He deserves a ton of credit. Vrabel, they deserve a ton of credit. A ton of credit. The Buffalo Bills should still have a huge head start. They should still have a huge head start. And this was, and Allen even said in his interview, when we had 3 turnovers, we shouldn't have even been in the game. And it's true. And you were in the game because the Patriots allowed you to be in the game, as Collinsworth also pointed out, where he said, if the Patriots lose this game, they have no one but to blame but themselves. And I think that's a fair conclusion. And we know Collinsworth absolutely loves Josh Allen, and understandably so. So, this is no shade at the Bills or Allen. I think Collinsworth actually, for the most part, gives some pretty, great, decent, grounded commentary throughout the game. And I think this game he was spot on throughout the entire game. And I think really the big thing is what he said. The Buffalo Bills are just like, hey, we know what we're going to do, but we're just going to have trust that we're better at it. That's a tough existence. A tough existence. How often do you know what Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs are about to do? You never have any idea. None. Zero. There was a beautiful play. Todd Bowles dials up a beautiful blitz against Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks, which compromises his arm, hits the ball, bounces up, interception. I mean, that is the victory by the defensive coach right there, dialing up the perfect moment, perfect play, get after it. Wake me up when Sean McDermott's doing that with the Buffalo Bills. Wake me up. Wake me up when it happens in a meaningful game, in a gotta-have-it moment, where then it gets executed and done how it needs to be done. Wake me up. When you saw it on full display with the Kansas City Chiefs against Josh Allen, the Buffalo, with Spags, dialing it up. Wake me up when it happens with the Buffalo Bills. Because until that happens, you're not winning these big games. You're just not. Because then you're just relying on Josh Allen to be superhero. And you're relying on Josh Allen to be perfect. And if you think that the reliable way to win is by asking Josh Allen to be perfect and Superman game after game after game, and play after play after play, in the biggest moments, you're just going to keep getting what you're going to keep getting. That's the reality of the situation. That's the reality of the situation. I came in hot here, but I promise you, it's not doom and gloom. It's not. It's Bruce Bud list of I believe in you. This is inspiration, because it's just wake up. What are you doing? But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills coming up short? And Josh Allen's just terrible deep ball passing. He's such a disaster because a 3-game or 4 or 5 game stretch really is equivalent to Patrick Mahomes being awful in 23, 24, and 25, even when adjusting for drop passes and whatnot. But let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.